Hey, Jillian. Well, Mayor Eric Adams is reiterating today that he's not dropping out of the mayoral race. But for the first time, Adams is acknowledging reports that he's in conversations with the White House about dropping out in exchange for a position in the Trump administration. In a statement, Mayor Adams says, quote, "While I will always listen if called to serve our country, no formal offers have been made. I am still running for re-election, and my full focus is on the safety and quality of life of every New Yorker." The mayor reportedly is in talks with the White House about becoming the U.S. ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Trump advisors have also reportedly discussed offering a job to Republican nominee Curtis Sliwa. Both Sliwa and Adams are polling way behind Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani. President Trump says defeating Mamdani is possible if candidates drop out, and he reportedly believes former Governor Andrew Cuomo should stay in.
I'd prefer not to have a communist mayor of New York City. I would like to see two people drop out and have it be one-on-one, and I think that's a race that could be won.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul said today that the president should stay out of it.
Contrary to what the president thinks, he's not a king. He's not a kingmaker. And he should be not anointing the next mayor of New York City. That is the right of New Yorkers to determine. And no one should be accepting that assistance.
Mamdani says if the president wants to intervene, he should come up here and debate him directly. Jillian?
All right, Brian Yanis with those details for us out of the New York newsroom. Thank you.
Of course.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about a very interesting set of developments coming out of the New York City's mayor's race that is currently between Zohran Mamdani, the socialist, Andrew Cuomo, the establishment disgraced Democrat, Eric Adams, the mayor and disgraced Democrat, and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican. And at this point, everybody except the socialists, they're splitting the vote. Okay, they're splitting the vote so much that if the election was held today, there's probably like an 80-90% chance that Zohran Mamdani would win. Okay, and I think what everybody kind of agrees with here, okay, despite our differences, is that we don't want a socialist to become mayor of a major American city, right? That's something that we don't want in our country, but it looks like that's what we're headed towards. Okay, if somebody does not drop out, okay, whether it be Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, Curtis Sliwa, preferably two of these candidates would drop out and take on Zohran Mamdani one-on-one. Now, up until this point, it seems as if Andrew Cuomo is the best candidate to take on Zohran Mamdani one-on-one. There was a poll that came out showing Andrew Cuomo beating Zohran Mamdani in a one-on-one matchup, and that sent Zohran Mamdani and his campaign into panic mode. As we talked about yesterday, he was lashing out in anger, right? He was mad. He was pissed. He wanted to challenge President Trump to a debate. Come debate me in New York City. Because reportedly, the Trump administration had offered Eric Adams a job, right? A job in exchange for dropping out of the New York City mayor's race.
Cuomo's campaign to make this a two-man race comes amid reports that President Trump and the White House are looking for ways to entice Mayor Adams and Curtis Sliwa to fold their tents. While Cuomo insists he's had no contact with the president or the White House, that didn't stop him from endorsing the idea that those two men should step aside.
If you're not the strongest candidate, step aside.
Andrew Cuomo may have lost the Democratic primary to Zohran Mamdani by 13 points, but he still thinks he has the best chance of beating him in November. And that's why he wants Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa to exit stage left.
Mr. Mamdani is not supported by the majority of New Yorkers. There have been 4,782 polls taken in this race, metaphorically. Every poll shows he's at about 40%. No poll has said a majority of New Yorkers support him.
The idea of a two-man race first surfaced after CBS News New York learned that the White House and President Trump have been exploring possible job offers to Adams and Sliwa. Cuomo insists he had nothing to do with that and would never accept a Trump endorsement. But that didn't stop him from trying to up the ante, challenging the Queen's Assemblyman and only him to a series of debates.
I challenge him to 5 debates, 1 in every borough where we speak about the issues in that borough.
I asked Mamdani about the Cuomo challenge, and he responded with one of his own.
Let's cut out the middleman. Why should I debate Donald Trump's puppet when I could debate Donald Trump himself? If Donald Trump is serious about this, he should come to New York City. We can have as many debates as he wants about why he is cutting SNAP benefits for hungry New Yorkers just to fund tax cuts for his billionaire donors.
At this point, it's not likely that the other candidates are ready to call it quits. A spokesman for Adams saying, quote, Andrew Cuomo already spent $25 million in the primary and still lost by double digits. If polls told the true story, he would be on the Democratic ballot today. It's time for him to step aside. Mayor Adams is focused on delivering for New Yorkers and remains the strongest candidate to defeat Zohran Mamdani in November.
Absolutely no way, under no circumstance. You can't bribe me, you can't lease me, you can't rent me, you can't motivate me to lead this race. I am running as the Republican candidate.
Now, allegedly, Eric Adams has been offered the job of becoming the ambassador to Saudi Arabia, right? Eric Adams was basically offered an opportunity to go and get some of that Arab money, right? That Arab money, okay? In exchange for dropping out of the New York City mayor's race. And Eric Adams has now speaking out, and he's given his answer in regards to if he's going to drop out of the race. And let's just say that Eric Adams likes revenge more than he likes money, right? Apparently, because it don't seem like he's dropping out. And I want to talk about this because this could actually be a death blow to the Democrat Party, because Eric Adams seems to be more interested in attacking Andrew Cuomo and making sure that Andrew Cuomo doesn't win rather than taking down Mamdani, which again is why I believe that this is about revenge. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
So I want to be clear with you. Andrew Cuomo is a snake and a liar. I am in this race, and I'm the only one that can beat Mamdani. Andrew has had a career of pushing black candidates out of races. You've heard me say it over again. Carl McCall, Charlie King, David Patterson. This is his career. That must stop with me. This city can't go backwards, New Yorkers. This is a city that I inherited, where crime was out of control, COVID, no one wanted to be on our subway system. We watched what happened in housing. The reason people are having these conversations is because I made this city safe. I committed myself and dedicated myself to a city that I love. And I'm going to continue to do that. This polo shirt that I'm wearing that says Eric Adams, Mayor of the City of New York, I'm going to wear that for another 4 years. We can't go backwards.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Eric Adams apparently is not dropping out, despite the fact that he knows, everybody knows, that he doesn't have a chance, right? That he is not going to win in a four-person race between Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa. And I don't think that anybody right now is making a strong case that Eric Adams is the strongest candidate to go up against Zohran Mamdani, right? I think at this point, the polls have made it clear that Andrew Cuomo is probably stronger than Eric Adams at this point, but who knows, right? I personally believe that the reason why he's doing this is because he knows that this could possibly be a death blow to the Democrat Party if Mamdani wins this race, right? This, in my opinion, is about revenge against the Democrat Party, because remember, Eric Adams claimed that the Biden administration weaponized the DOJ to go after him, right? That the allegations, the corruption allegations, the charges, an investigation into him, that was all a political witch hunt, right? Because he didn't want to go along with the Biden administration and their open borders agenda, right? So that's what he claims, okay? And I'm pretty sure he's still salty about that happening. And one of the ways that he can get back at the Democrats for basically throwing him under the bus like that, ruining his career, right? Because let's be real, that essentially ruined his career, to be honest with you. I think that made it so a lot of New Yorkers don't trust Eric Adams, and I think that's why he's struggling, right? He's struggling because I think most people kind of accept that he's a corrupt character, right? He's corrupt, and I think people are just uncomfortable voting for him, right? Even though Andrew Cuomo is also corrupt, Zohran Mamdani is also corrupt too. They're all corrupt, okay? They're all crooks, right? But again, Eric Adams might be the shadiest. Okay, so I'm just saying, I think that shade factor that has tainted his career because of the charges, the indictment from the Biden DOJ. I think he's mad about that. I think he's still mad about it, and I think that's why he's not dropping out. And again, what better way to get revenge than to essentially participate in the destruction of the Democrat Party, right? The same party that tried to throw you in jail. Okay, and Zohran Mamdani winning the New York City mayor's race would in fact do just that. Because remember, Democrats, even the leadership, Hakeem Jeffries, they're not endorsing Zohran Mamdani, right? They're not outright endorsing him, because if they outright endorse him, then they're endorsing socialism. And Democrats are struggling right now to maintain control of their party. The establishment Democrats are currently losing the Democrat Civil War to the socialists. And if Zohran Mamdani wins, okay, then that's going to be a mask-off moment for the socialists in the party. And that is going to essentially make it a lot harder for establishment Democrats to win primaries, to maintain their seats, right? There's going to be a ton of progressive candidates that are going to start running and primarying these Democrats. This is why you have Democrats like Tom Suozzi coming out here and saying what Hakeem Jeffries doesn't have the balls to say out loud, which is that there's no room for socialists in our party, right? Socialists do not belong in the Democrat Party. He's saying this for a reason. All the Democrats know behind closed doors that if Zohran Mamdani wins, that will taint the Democrat brand. It will make it super hard for them to win general elections.
No, okay, so now you have Hakeem Jeffries. He's the House Minority Leader who'd love to be the head of the
And
House.
I think he should be. He's fantastic.
But let's ask this question. What does he do about Zohran Mamdani? Does he endorse him, or does that hurt him in trying to take control in 2026?
Listen, I have not talked to him about it recently. I don't think he should endorse Zohran Mamdani. I think it would be bad for the Democratic Party nationwide.
But President Trump wants him to be the nominee. He wants to run against him.
Of course President Trump wants that.
He wants to make him the face of the Democratic Party.
We are democratic capital. Capitalism has raised more people out of poverty than any other system in the history of the world.
But people are buying
It has created more innovation. And socialism has failed everywhere throughout the United States of America. Zohran Mamdani and other democratic socialists should create their own party, because I don't want that in my party. I believe in free enterprise. I believe in democracy. I believe in the democratic ideals. Do I think there's a problem with affordability? Absolutely, there's a problem with affordability. We have to make things more affordable, but we have to also support the police. We have to reduce costs. We have to reduce taxes in New York State to make us more competitive with the rest of the country.
For the House.
I have yet to meet a New Yorker who has asked me about the opinions of Tom Suozzi as it pertains to what it means to lead this city. And with regards to the mayor and the allegations of different job offerings that have been made in the Trump administration, it's not the question of where that job is, what agency. It's that the sole intent of this entire conversation is how to increase the odds of any candidate defeating our campaign. That's what all of them are working backwards from. And it speaks to how threatened the Trump administration is by our agenda, because it's an agenda that actually seeks to fulfill the very things that he campaigned on.
Yeah, so again, I personally think that this is 100% about revenge, right? Eric Adams likes revenge more than he likes money, right? Apparently, okay? I'm just saying, like, Eric Adams probably is already pretty set financially. I remember reading a story about Eric Adams taking his salary, his mayor salary at some point in Bitcoin, right? And if he actually did that, then again, he's probably good, right? He's actually probably pretty good financially, which is why he's in a position to do this. Because let's be real, he doesn't really have a career after this. I mean, he is exiled for the Democrat Party, right? So he's not really a Democrat anymore. He's not really a Republican either. He's disgraced, okay? I mean, everybody knows he's corrupt. Like, what are you gonna do after this, right? I mean, he has to be financially set in order to push forward with this, knowing that he can't win, right? Like, he's not gonna win. So again, what are you doing here? Well, what he's doing is that he's getting revenge against Democrats, 100%. He knows that the ultimate revenge against Democrats is to go ahead and to pull the plug on the life support machine that is currently keeping the Democrat Party alive. They're going to get overtaken by the virus of socialism. They're going to succumb to it. It's not about if, it's about when. So Eric Adams could be the key to that go ahead and happening now and the Democrat Party falling apart. The last thing that the establishment Democrats want is for somebody like Zoran Mamdani to win. They would much rather have a Cuomo win. That's what they actually want. They want Cuomo to win, right? Remember, Cuomo running in the primary was because establishing Democrats back Cuomo. That's their guy, right? That's what they actually want. Zoran won the primary, right? He actually won the primary, but that's not their guy, okay? Their guy is Cuomo. They want Cuomo to win. So Eric Adams at this point is essentially just playing spoiler, right? He's a spoiler. That's it. And he can decide basically who wins his race. He can decide if he wants Andrew Cuomo to win, okay, and he wants to take down the socialists, or he can decide that, you know what, screw all that. I want my revenge, and I'm going to take out Cuomo in order to get my revenge because Democrats try to throw me in jail, right? And that effectively, again, would be a devastating blow to the Democrat establishment because that would essentially signal their defeat, that they've lost their civil war to the progressive wing of their party, and all of the lunatics now have a green light to primary these Democrats, and a lot of these establishment Democrats, they're going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their jobs. They're going to get primary like hell. The progressive base of Democrat Party, they're going to be fired up, and they're not going to be fired up to vote for Hakeem Jeffries, right? Or Andrew Cuomo or any of these establishment people. No, they're going to be fired up to vote for lunatics. And the lunatics are going to win. They're going to win these primaries. They're going to win these primaries. They're going to win a lot of primaries. And Democrats are going to lose their jobs. And then these lunatics are going to have a hard time winning general elections. And Democrats are going to lose more seats. That's ultimately what's going to end up happening, okay, if Zoran wins, right? So again, this is kind of a gift for Republicans, to be honest with you. But I do think that President Trump cares about New York City more than he cares about the other stuff I just talked about, right? In the sense that, yeah, you don't want that city to be run by a socialist, right? To become a socialist hellhole, even though it could be an opportunity to take down the Democrat Party nationwide, right? It would help Republicans nationwide, but at the same time, it would be bad for the country overall, and it would be bad for New York City. We can't have these lunatics. For as much as I don't like the Democrat establishment, again, I would prefer the Democrat establishment over the socialists any day of the week. I've seen what progressive socialist leadership leads to. We've seen it. We've seen it in Oakland. We've seen it in San Francisco. We've seen it in Portland. We've seen it in Seattle. We've seen it in Chicago. We've seen it too many times. We know what it leads to. Again, I would much rather have a centrist Democrat than a socialist. It is what it is. People can say what they want, but I just would never get behind that, right? And again, it would be a bad thing for the country overall to have these lunatics in office. So again, Eric Adams seems to be valuing revenge over all those things, and that's where we're at. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.